this is Greg at Best Choice Trailers. Today I'm going to take you for a walk around the Sure-Trac 16-foot gooseneck low-profile dump trailer. This trailer's got a few options on it. Most notably, the axles are upgraded to 8,000 pound, and it's also got the telescopic hoist upgrade. Another reason for video today, this is the first unit in that's got the new Sure-Trac I-beam neck on the gooseneck. Something we've been a proponent for, along with the I-beam neck, comes the front full-width toolbox. So let's take a walk around the trailer and show you the standard features on this, as well as the options. We're going to start out up front. It's got a gooseneck coupler. As with your goosenecks on the market, it's got the adjustable neck, so it can go up and down about 4 different spots. You've got your set bolts up front. It's got a sealed cold weather harness, 7-pin plug. Of course, your safety chains. It's got a spring-loaded latch on your coupler. One thing a little different on Sure-Trac, they put a gusset plate on the neck. Also, they've got the under neck supports. Instead of just the I-beam neck or maybe a channel in the back of the neck, they give you the gusset in the neck. Bolt-on jacks. It's also got dual jacks standard equipment. On the right-hand side, you'll notice the 110-volt charger. It's also got a locking toolbox. It's got a 20-foot remote cord that'll make it up to your truck. One thing unique to Sure-Trac would be the front and rear bulkhead. It's got a spot to mount your tarp. Also gives you an ideal spot for a sideboard extension. Put your lights at the back up where people can see them. Got a spare tire mount. Nice detail about Sure-Trac, they weld not only the inside but the outside as well. Got 8 different welds on the mount, not going anywhere. Also give you the hooks for your tarp going down the side. Give you stake pockets for building up side extensions. So again, the bulkhead front and rear will help handle the front and rear board, but if you want to build it up a little higher, you also got stake pockets to do so. Sure-Trac does a stacked frame, meaning you've got your traditional tongue, main frame, and bed frame. On the 8K axle such as this, they go to a heavier wall. Instead of a 3/16, they're going to jump up to a 1/4 inch. Check that spec against most of the industry. Again, these guys go a little bit heavier spec, particularly on the 8K axle upgrade. Reflector tape going down the side. See the double broke fender. Here's a good shot of the new side step. Instead of the expanded mesh, they went with a punch plate step. Nice little detail. Another thing on Sure-Trac, between different spots, like between the tongue and the frame, you notice they silicone that shut, keep rust and whatnot out of that area. Same thing on the fender. Between the fender and the body, they're doing the same thing. Okay, with your 8K axle upgrade, of course, you're going to jump to your heavier axle, heavier springs. You're also jumping up to a 16-ply tire, 17.5. Of course, you got your solid wheels. You get about twice the tread on these 17.5s is what you're going to get on a traditional 10-ply trailer tire. On the 16-foot length trailers and on the 8,000-pound axle trailers, you're gonna get the gusset underneath the main frame at the hinge point. A lot of little details on Sure-Trac we appreciate. They don't necessarily build the heaviest trailer on the market, but they certainly build a heavy enough trailer. But most importantly, they build in a lot of little details like this that are your key areas that would otherwise fail. Also little details like capping the end of the tube frame. Certainly don't sell these as necessarily being the heaviest trailer in the market, but we certainly sell plenty and tend to have real good experience. Again, a lot of the critical areas on these are well taken care of. They're plated over the axle box area on these. I'll show you in a little bit. Your hinge, the end of your tube. A couple other new for 2019 features besides the I-beam neck. They've changed the hinge design at the back, improved it, made it heavier duty. Of course, got your zerks on there. They've also made this a little more rigid at the back. It actually breaks over, makes it more like a rigid rail instead of a traditional dump trailer. It's going to form over. This is supported all the way back and returns to itself. They've also gone with just a slightly taller rear ramp support at the back. As with all your Sure-Tracs, of course, all seal beam LED lights. Little details, they do a cam bar lock instead of a single pin on the gate. They also put your door holdbacks in your mesh. Doors on these are going to swing around and tie back to your fender. Smart idea if you've ever used a trailer, comes out to a 90. They get fairly easily damaged if you put the trailer up and have a pile of stone or something sitting next to it. Undermount ramps are standard equipment. 8K axle trailers, they throw heavier ramps on to accommodate that extra weight. This here is a 7x16, also available in a 14. Again, as shown, would have the 8K axle upgrade. We also carry these with the 7K axles. So this is 16 foot in length. It's going to have about 225 or so cubic feet to the top of the wall, and then of course you've got your sidewall extensions. It's going to dump to about a 45 or a little bit more at a 45-degree angle. Let's give you a close look and talk a little more about the telescopic hoist. So there you can see it mounts right behind the front. Sure-Trac for the longest time didn't offer a telescopic on a 16 foot. It requires a longer cylinder. But they've now started stocking these in a 120 cylinder, which is what you need on a 16 footer. Telescopics are very efficient because they're staged to the appropriate point of the dump cycle. So at the very beginning, of course, you've got more girth on your cylinder, and as it hits stage 2, it's going to neck back a little bit. So you're always at the right speed. Think of this as a 3-speed bicycle versus a single ram or dual ram is going to be a single speed. This gets a chance to reset itself to where it's always at the right operating pressure. It doesn't have to operate in a real high pressure because of how efficient it is. You notice the telescopic mounts at the front of the hoist, so one of the single biggest things it's going to achieve is that it's pointed vertical trying to go vertical, where your ram cylinders are going to be underneath and they're going to have to redirect a lot of force. Okay, so we got this up. So again, it's at the front, not underneath, which makes it a lot more efficient. But then also think about the leverage. So not only is it vertical instead of horizontal, but you've also got it at the very front versus if this is a dual ram always mounts within about a few inches of the midpoint of the fender. A scissor always mounts within a few inches of the front of the fender. So this has a lot more leverage, it's pointed the right direction. Sure-Trac on these also does power up, gravity down, whereas a dual ram would be a power up, power down. So you're saving a little bit of power there as well. And then also your efficiencies on a 3-stage cylinder as well. So again, that's a 120 stroke, give or take. Again, you're about a 45-degree angle. Let's take a peek underneath the trailer here. Sure-Trac does an underbody tool tray standard on all their 7-wide and 8-wide trailers. Gives you a nice spot to put different tools or straps, binders, whatnot. Let me show you some of the finish details on these. Notice the wiring coming out the back of the toolbox is all grommeted. It's all sealed. Notice your brakes on these are all sealed connection. Again, grommeted where it comes out of the frame. Slipper spring suspension on these instead of an eye-to-eye. Slipper spring suspension is a little bit heavier duty setup. They also put a grease zert on them as well. Some would call that a wet bolt kit and include it or make it available as an option. Standard equipment on the slipper spring suspension with the wet bolt. So again, underneath the body here, now we can see a little better. They do little details as well. Not only is that a heavier wall frame, but they also plate in the critical areas. So again, that hinge point area and above your axle area. Again, the jacks on these are bolt-ons. If you have an issue, easy to, or much easier to replace. Trailer is powder coated. Sure-Trac's process a lot different than our other manufacturers in the industry. These guys store their steel all inside, which is an important detail. They actually buy all their steel with Conestoga wagons covered, unloaded inside, and then once they finish the final product, they blast it with steel grit. Then they phosphate wash and zinc chromate. Very good process, and certainly I would say that process is more important than the material or the brand of the powder coat and whatnot. These guys do a real good process. A couple of little details I want to show you again. I was saying the ramps are a little heavier, so instead of a channel runner like you would traditionally have in a ramp, they make these out of box tubes, stronger than channel would be. It doesn't weigh a whole lot more, but because of the shape of the extrusion, very strong. They do that on 8K axle trailers. You also notice, instead of 1/4-inch plate at the end of these, we used to have a manufacturer use 1/4, and we would see some failures over time with that. They use 1/2-inch plate. Haven't had a problem with the 1/2-inch plate. So little details there. This would actually bear at the back end of the trailer. This would retain it from pulling away. So little details on this bed frame here. You'll notice these are 4-inch cross members. So you got all 4-inch cross members on the bed frame, where most in the industry you're going to find are going to be a 3-inch cross member. So they use a little bit heavier cross member, a little bit heavier ramp. Again, a lot of your little details on these we find just add up, make for a good user experience. Got probably 8 inches, give or take, of clearance at the back end of this with it all the way up. Again, your I-beam neck. So again, this is a new toolbox, new neck design. These a NOCO 110-volt charger. I've had a good luck with these so far, and also the Deca battery. KTI pump. Lots in the industry use KTI. They're pretty commonplace in our industry. One important detail, you look at PSI, it says 1700 PSI. That's a very low operating pressure. Let me show you the rest of this toolbox here and I'll explain the pressure and why that's important. So about half your toolbox is pump and battery, and then you got some additional room as well for your straps and binders and whatnot. Now that operating pressure being 1700 is very important. Most in the industry are going to set it at 32. And of course, the lower operating pressure you can run, better it's going to be for your seals and whatnot in this setup. So because of how efficient that telescopic hoist is, there's a few benefits. One's certainly going to be, you got to get more dump cycles out of the battery because it's a more efficient hoist. The second one, again, would be running a low operating pressure like that, certainly going to be better for the longevity of the system long term. So again, this is available with different hoists. We can do it on the scissor. I believe they're starting to even offer this now in the dual ram as well, and then this being the telescopic. With the 8K axle upgrades, we assume this is going to be a heavier duty user. We'd highly recommend a telescopic hoist. If you have any questions on this or any of our other trailers, feel free to give us a ring at 717-220-4220 or visit us on the web at bestchoicetrailers.com.